live. Hello, people, and welcome to another episode of Who's That Anime? It's been weeks, and
It's been at least a few weeks.
yeah,
I don't know exactly how many, but
a few
it's been a
weeks.
few. I can hear you on the stream.
All right, can
I'm
you
just
hear
double
me?
checking. Yep, and I sound fine. So yeah, we're good.
Yeah, that's okay. So anyway, yeah, it's been a few weeks. It's been Easter. We're not religious, but it's been Easter.
No, it has. It's
Um,
been Easter,
and
and
also you might notice up there, but hang on, isn't mirror
yep,
logic this number here?
yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's how many days I've been born for. Days.
You've achieved it.
I've only been born for 40 days.
You you definitely were not. You weren't born yesterday, at least. So that's good.
That is very true. I was not born yesterday. I should probably not be watching this anime now and think about it. It was only been 40 days old.
It's. I don't know that this is suitable for anyone, regardless of age. So I think we're just all breaking the law here. I wouldn't worry
Alright.
too much about it.
So we should dive into what, episode 8 is it?
No, episode 9.
Oh, it's 9.
So this is. Let me just double check this here. So we're on a third episode of looking at ghost stories, and in episode 1 we did episodes 1 to 4. In our podcast episode 2 we did 5 to 8,
Hmm,
and then today we're going to discuss episode 9, 10, 11, and 12.
excellent 12.
Yeah, so episode 9, diving straight in, is titled "The Corpse That Roams in the Night," Shirotabe.
Nice.
And I remember, I think probably a good few weeks ago now, before I knew even what Ghost Stories was, uh, seeing clips from this episode and asking, asking yourself was like, so that's not like, this is just someone's edited this, right? It's like, no, this is what this show is. It's like, oh yeah, that's something.
Yeah,
That is something.
it is
But
very much something.
so this one, Satsuki, she becomes like a school pet keeper.
Yeah, she somehow gets voted in to help out the person that's been looking after the rabbits for years. Well, I don't know how long years
Uh,
is.
yeah. Is it Mio? Is Mio her name?
Something like that. She's the character that they introduced this episode and never seen again.
Like that other guy that got crushed by the basketball hoop.
Yeah. Well, he got
That
crushed.
was yeah, that's true. That's true. Although she's like I assume her name's Mio. She's a relatively big part of this episode.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Because the whole thing is that she's basically looked after the rabbits, the school rabbits, as you say, for years. But now there are more rabbits than she has time for, according to the teacher. The teacher's weird. I
Well,
don't like the teacher.
yeah, he is a bit weird because he does he makes some random comment and then just like actually it's like, oh yeah, great girls. But doesn't he use the word girls first? He uses something like probably more politically correct and then corrects himself to be incorrect.
Yes. Yeah. He's. They're definitely playing him somewhat perverted, as a lot of this show is.
Yes.
Um, they're definitely going for that. But yeah, already this is just it, as the setup to an episode. This is just not good for me. Like immediately, it just smacks of it's almost like they had a filler episode in a show that required no filler episodes.
Well, in a 21 episodes of the show.
Yeah,
Oh, actually.
It's like, God, it's been 8 episodes. We don't know what to do next. It's, I don't know, rabbits or something. Maybe that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Can be, can be a thing. Um. So yeah, she becomes like a rabbit person. It's just
No.
this is stupid. No, she's not like not like physically a rabbit person. She like looks after the rabbits.
Yeah, yeah, she's a rabbit
She doesn't
caretaker.
like become Lola Bunny or anything like that. She just cares for the rabbits.
Yeah.
We're not deep diving into any weird furry territory or anything like that. Not yucking someone else's yum. Just even that would be pretty weird. But yeah, she ends up looking after the rabbits with Mio, and I don't know, like there's like a the start of this episode is like someone digging up rabbit bones or something in a really weird way.
Oh, yeah, they're digging up a pet cemetery for bones.
Lots of Stephen King jokes as well, which was fun
Yeah.
for somebody called Stephen King. It's just like, yeah, I hope Stephen King's not watching this. It's like, no, he is. He's here looking at this right now. It's all.
Yeah. Maybe
It's
not that
not
Stephen
good.
King. You don't have the power to sue.
No, no, I don't. I mean, I suppose if they spelled cemetery correctly, then they would technically be good. So
They might, I don't know, it's technically all in Japanese, so
more to come on the idea of like the fact that this show cannot make up its fucking mind of it whether it exists in Japan or not when they're speaking English. It is incredible the sort of internal struggle that this show has with like it's like, oh yeah, like typical things in Japan. Oh, that's weird. Just like being in Japan. And you're like, yeah, isn't it? Are you in Japan? Is this supposed to be in the US in this dub? Everything's written in Japanese. How are you getting around this? It's
yeah.
just
That's next episode though.
no, but like it's a consistent theme.
It is.
It's a consistent theme. Next episode, it comes to a head in the worst way possible. But yeah,
What?
it's just no, don't. We'll get there. But yeah, so like there's the pet cemetery, and I think like Sasuke's like turning up for like first day of duty or something like that, and sees Mio in the forest being all weird.
Yeah, and she was late. A while, apparently.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
Oh wait. We're missing the bit where like Mio gives her like a weird rabbit keychain thing. Did that
yeah,
happen?
because
And
she's,
she claims it's like, here, you can have this rabbit keychain. We used to be a couple, but we had a falling out. It's like, yeah, that's cool.
yeah, that's kind of the weirdness of it. I mean, I think it starts off, mainly the episode starts off with her someone digging up a pet cemetery. And
Yeah.
then it's like, have you never noticed that weird kid that sits in the corner of the classroom? And then it's just like, what? No, never noticed this kid. Then she comes in, the classroom's all empty, and it's like, oh yeah, there she is.
Yep.
And
Oh
then she
God.
passes a keychain because she likes making all these random keychain stuffed animal things.
Yes. And I think that's the reason it reminded me is like when she sees her at the pet cemetery, she's holding somehow she miraculously from maybe 300 to 400 yards away sees that she's holding a very small doll with her back to her.
Yeah, it's kind
It
of,
should really be it's a physical impossibility.
there's many things that's physically impossible in this show.
True, true story. But yeah, she ends up like what is it? Sasuke thought she was late, but then Mio is apparently she also apologizes for being late for some, because she was pet cemeterying.
Yeah, she says, oh, sorry I'm late, I see you got here before me. And then she was like,
Yes.
what? I was totally here after you.
I didn't understand that, whether that was just like trying to like point blank deny that she'd been in the pet cemetery, or is there something like, no, she just doesn't remember being here.
Maybe. It was never. really explained ever in the rest of the episode. She was just
It's
a
not.
weird kid.
Yes, she's definitely a weird kid. Uh, but yeah, it kind of. I don't even remember much about this episode except for like the really bad and weird dubbing that comes with it.
That's just this show.
Yeah, yeah, but this is particularly egregious.
Yeah, was so I think it comes on to the like second day,
Uh huh.
and what's his name? The main boy.
Hajime.
Yeah, he comes for some reason. Can't remember why.
Yes.
And then he
No.
makes some random racist joke again. Pretty sure he
I don't
does.
remember this. I
I
don't
think it was
remember the
something about
random racist joke.
Hispanics.
Oh god. Fair enough.
Um, and she's there and looking at things, and then he recognizes like one of the rabbits that's in the cage. Or was that the third day?
Yes. But the rabbit is the one called Shirotabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then anyway, so it like goes back and there's like a headline about some school's rabbits are being massacred and eaten.
Yes, which is a weird thing to put in the paper. But well, no, I guess it's not a weird thing. Maybe the front page is definitely a weird thing to put a picture of, which they seem
Yeah.
to do.
Uh, and then I think that the rabbit appears, which is, he goes, wait, that looks exactly like that rabbit. It died.
Yeah. Oh no, it's the only one that's left alive, isn't it?
No, because that was like another skills I was talking about. Had the
Oh, okay.
and
I see.
then after that, like all the rabbits got massacred, and he was the only one left alive.
That's right.
Um,
And that's how they start to figure out that maybe there's something wrong with this rabbit.
yeah, and anyway, so I think ends up it breaks out again, turns into the big were rabbit. You
It
can actually
does,
see
yeah.
it by this time, and it starts attacking people.
It does.
And then that words get around the village or town that they're in. And they're like, "What?" Uh,
I was definitely like that.
yeah, the episode doesn't fully make sense. I think, if I remember right, the whole show was like, yeah, you can change the dubbing, but you got to keep the names and everything, but also
Yeah.
keep the moral of the story.
I don't like I don't even want to hazard a guess at what they thought the moral was for this one.
While they tried to add a moral at the end of it, but we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they get do they end up in the old schoolhouse, don't they? If I remember rightly.
Um. Yeah, because they end up running away from the big monster because they stake it
And
out
they
at night.
yeah, that's right. And then they go into the they go into the old schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Because we all
Oh,
know it's such a safe place.
yeah. Well, crazy girl, crazy one-time episode girl.
Mio. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think her name's
she
Mio.
she appears in front of them because they were waiting for her because they think it was her that was doing the killings or the rabbit. And
Yep.
then she goes, "I'm going to stand in front of this cage and put my hand out because I kind of know I raised you from the dead, but you're not going to attack me because that's not
Yep.
going to happen, honest." And then he attacks her.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
And then they run to this old schoolhouse, and then they're like, "You got to throw that keychain thing away."
Oh, the thing that's binding him here, whatever.
Yeah, and then it gets like one of the baddest lines in the episode. Oh no, we totally
Wait,
forgot about how she talks about playing with the rabbit because that's pretty bad too.
she does. That's the is that the bit where she's like having the weird like memory thing, and it goes, touch me harder."
Yes.
I mean, it's just it's such a weird. I don't. It's difficult to articulate quite how weird that is.
It's fairly weird, that's for sure. And then,
Of course, we're getting to the gold here.
yeah, so the gold in this one is basically she throws away her keychain because that's the attachment that the bunny has with her.
Yep,
And
and it sort of breaks the spell.
yeah, well, she ends up saying something along the lines of, "It will never work again with us, not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black." Now, I want to point out that the rabbit isn't actually black when it's like normal. It's only black when it's a big raging demon thing,
And
black with
also,
red
it's a
thorn at the
rabbit.
bottom of it.
It's a rabbit. Like I don't. I remember hearing that line in a clip video somewhere and just thinking, I wonder why
Yeah,
someone would do that to that show. And then I found out that that show did that to that show.
yeah, that show did do that thing to that show.
Ooh, it's yeah, that's a line. That
Yeah,
is a line.
and then that's it. That's the end of the rabbits. And then end of it is like, oh look, there's lots of baby rabbits that came from the dead rabbit.
Oh, that's right.
And then she got really upset. You two-timing bastard, I think she ends up saying, or something like that.
She does. She's she starts having a meltdown because she's been cheated on.
Yeah. So, and then the teacher goes on about how the rabbits appear
That's
because the
right. Yep.
birds and the bees.
Yep. I hate that
Uh,
teacher.
and then there was another story about how one friend didn't want to get pregnant, but the guy didn't pull out and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. So I didn't imagine that. Right. There is a bit at the end of that where it just goes totally off piste and starts. The guy has the conversation. He's like, "Let me just run this by you kids." And like starts having a weird, yeah, a weird tete-a-tete with them about how a couple he knows are one of them's trying to get pregnant, the other one's not.
Yeah, and it's
What?
yeah, it's like well, it's kind of that's the moral of the story. That's
Okay.
that's what they
That's
claim was the
yep.
moral of the story of this episode. That
Oh.
yeah, well maybe not that bit, but it was something about fathers.
You know, so here's the thing is that the one on a limited run series, one of the things I think that you would do best is to get people into the rhythm of like what an episode is. And like yes, there should be a like there's usually a formula to this sort of stuff like oh, here's the group, the Intrepid Ghost Hunters, and the lead female has this book that was written by a mother about how all the ghosts and how they all interact and all the rules behind them, and sometimes the religious one, for some reason, gets possessed by the mother to like help them, guide them through the difficulties that they have. And instead, that sort of sometimes happens, and the rest of the time it just rambles about racism.
Yeah, yeah, it's not just racism.
No, no, I mean there's ableism. They just kind of they try everything.
Yeah, that show aired right, like in this decade slash end of the last decade. I think it would been heavily cancelled, and things will be happening to the production crew,
It's like
and they wouldn't have jobs anymore.
it's definitely, shall we say, a product of that time, and no more. I feel like and I said this before, like, but it definitely does feel like somebody was like, "What if we just did like a mystery science theater for this thing, like, and just did whatever that, like, just really take the piss out of it."
Yeah, I think
And
that's
they
maybe
did
what they
that.
went with, but
Wow,
maybe they shouldn't
amazing.
have such racist writers and
I
jokes.
mean, that's yeah, that's definitely. definitely a consideration. So how did you rate this one?
This one,
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose, like all episodes, they kind of fail in being episodes,
Yep.
and they're just random messes. So, how would I rate the random mess of this episode with this horrible, horrible, horrible script? Um,
Yep.
I think I'll go with four or three.
Uh, you think four,
Yeah,
three?
I'll go four.
I was gonna go with a three, so we're in the right ballpark.
We're synchronizing again this week.
Oof. Okay, we move on to episode 10. This one, uh, the tunnel with no exit. Anamaneki. Now,
Yeah,
I felt that this one had some relative promise.
yeah, yeah, it did until you probably met the taxi driver. Anyway,
Y- Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's as with a couple of them, I feel like they've made a really good effort with sort of like trying to set up something a bit creepy.
uh-huh.
Uh, and this one like does that with the introduction of the tunnel and stuff like that at the in the start with it's the workman, right? At this one.
Yeah, so the workmen are doing some work on like the alternative route that was open and that tunnel was closed off. And it
Yep.
starts off with workmen going, uh, hey, what am I doing with these planks? Just move the planks, plank mover.
Plank mover. That's right. He calls
And
him plank mover.
then they had a lot of was it your sister's jokes, I think?
There's a lot of conversation. It's like, why don't you just what is it? He says like something like, "Why don't you just get off me? Like I was on your sister last night." He's like, that's funny." Just
Yeah.
they're like just terrible, boorish assholes.
Construction workers, man. That would be the sort of shit they would come out with.
The stereotype. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it, love it. But yeah,
That's,
they what is it that I'm trying to remember how that kind of turns around. So like there's things in the tunnel basically.
yeah. Yeah, so they open the tunnel and then they basically go, that's dark and scary, like, and then that's where it's like, just like your sister or something like that.
Yep, that's right.
And then he'll show it, and then like they get in the car and then they do like the other sister jokes. And then the other guy's like, oh, there's a guy, oh, this is a Hispanic joke. Um, there's a guy behind us type thing, flashing his lights. I'll just pull over. You know, thinking of some Hispanic guy, and then the guy called the passenger in the passenger seat in the car is potentially Hispanic as well, because I'm sure they make a comment talking about him.
So I've remembered what the joke is now. Is or he makes a joke about the guy's sister and he goes, "What the hell are you talking about? We all know you're gay." And then like that happens, and then the taxi driver appears behind him. He goes, "Well, you're gonna love this in particular. He's right up my ass."
Oh yeah,
It's just like I remember this like this episode particularly because it was literally just awkward joke after awkward joke after awkward joke after awkward joke for the pretty much the first 5 minutes of the episode.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, they pull over and nothing happens to them,
Hmm.
and then I think it essentially starts off with Hajime doing some readings on a temperature for a weather station or something.
Yes.
And then you make the joke about decimalization and how shit it is. I'll just put
Yeah, he
100.
says. Yeah, he says it says something like 2.7.
Yeah,
Where the hell's this system? I've just put 100. Nobody cares or looks at this anyway.
yeah. And then he starts walking and then reach that sign that we were talking about,
Uh, yep.
where he goes,
This.
ah, there's a road sign. It's all in Japanese. Oh no, it's all in Chinese. Oh wait, no, that's
Yep.
Japanese.
He
It's
says it's in Japanese. ching chong ching chong ching chong ching. No wait, that's Chinese. And then corrects himself, just corrects the right racist slur.
Yeah. Then he just goes, "Oh well, at least I can read barricade."
Yes, at least I can read barricade. Which apparently he can't either because they berate him for that like 2 minutes later.
Oh, he read it. He like went to the tunnel and then got chased by that creepy taxi guy,
Oh, I suppose,
and
yeah.
then he ran to
I
the construction site and got berated for being on site.
not being able to understand the universal red text.
Yeah,
Although to be fair, like the taxi driver's like, "Want to ride, little boy?" And he goes, "No, like in my cab," or
yeah.
something like awful like that.
Like he was still driving.
Wait, did he not
He
stop?
No, he didn't stop. He was driving when he said, "Want to ride, little boy?" And Hajime was
He,
just staring at it.
that's right. Oh man,
It was like, what? He's not even stopped. That's the
no.
weirdest.
I guess these are the bits where the show might have had some tension if they hadn't just thrown in arbitrary text or arbitrary dialogue rather.
Pretty much, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
how do you feel this bit? The guy obviously spoke.
I guess maybe.
Yeah. Um,
Jesus.
it was kind of weird. So he obviously Hajime goes back and tells his friends about the crazy taxi driver in the tunnel. And
Hmm.
then the ghost expert boy goes, "Oh yes, that's that tunnel where a lot of people died." So they closed it off.
Yeah, the tunnel is called Anamaneki. That's the name of the tunnel.
Yeah. Um, so then they go with him to the weather station and then head to the tunnel. Because like, we gotta go
Mhm.
to this tunnel. And then they
Oh
all
yeah,
get a
'cause
lift
he
by the
wants to get
taxi
home.
driver.
He wants to get home to watch his show.
Yeah, that's right. But he doesn't want to pay.
That's right.
That's the
He is
Jew
deeply
joke.
worried about having to pay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they all end up in the taxi.
He then drives them into the
And
tunnel
this,
and leaves them there.
so because this is the bit basically this is the creepy taxi driver because he recognizes Ajime from the day before as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and this is like I this is another bit of like where I feel like they kind of did have an idea about like what was kind of creepy and stuff like that because obviously the taxi driver's like his face just kind of melts.
Yeah, it melts and he's got like the to see the
It's
muscle
just
and
like
all that.
muscle and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool. Like it's a good piece of animation, I think.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. Like they get that in another episode we'll talk about. Anyway,
Yes, yes, they do, and they call it out as well.
yeah. So they can't follow them well for some reason.
Yes, that's right. Of course.
Moaning about it. Um, and don't you think that the scene where the taxi driver kind of looks around is like a scene from some other random technical horror movie? Like maybe I don't know if it was Ghostbusters or maybe Beetlejuice or something like that.
Oh well, I mean, there is that bit in Ghostbusters where the taxi driver looks around and he's dead.
Yeah,
He's a, so maybe like I mean, it could legit be like a one of those instances where they've like kind of done a shot by shot.
yeah. It's possibly where they got that one from. Anyway, so now they're abandoning this tunnel, and the shadows come for them,
Yep, and they get
uh, and
kind
they get
of slowly
trapped.
chased through the tunnel.
Yeah, they get trapped in the shadow world or whatever.
Yep,
And
it's kind of a dull world.
yeah, well, dullish. So Hajime and Christian girl can't remember her name either.
Uh, Momoko.
Momoko, that's it. Yeah, uh, awake together in a cemetery,
That's right.
and Hajime immediately goes, "Where's the others?" I'm going to go and do the characteristic thing for a horror movie and go by myself uh, all the way here. And then
Yep.
Monko then basically states that he's such a heroic person, leave me alone in this graveyard. Something along those lines. And it's like, yeah,
Nice little bit of sarcasm there.
yeah, well, I don't know, it was sarcasm. It was pretty straight-laced. Her character seems, it's great. Not, not the brightest sometimes.
That's true.
Well,
Um, yeah, and I'm trying to remember exactly how this kind of plays out now because I remember sort of the ideas is that they're sort of being well, like I think the idea is that all of these the shadows are like basically the people that have died in the tunnel
yeah, I think that.
is the way this works.
And
Um,
and they're just reliving his memories because
yes,
Sasuke and Gitaro, I think, are in the house with his daughter and the taxi driver.
Jesus, yeah, and every conversation with them is just a winner, start to finish.
Yeah, yeah, where she's like, "Oh, did you get drunk on something?" I can't actually remember half of them.
It's what I say. You're home early. Did the bar close? It's like, no, I still got drunk. And it's like, oh hey, like remember when I failed that test and you beat me so hard I couldn't walk anymore? Well, look, I did better. It's just,
Yeah, I cheated.
it's just, yeah, it's just every, every bit of that, and then loads of conversations because it's about is the mum his wife is dead, right? That's the whole thing,
I think so.
and
Yeah,
then he basically it like talks to his daughter a lot about sleeping with exotic dancers and hookers.
yeah, yep.
So that's her life.
Yeah. Uh, and he says one of them was telling him he should get a test
That's right.
because she caught something.
Yep.
Uh,
And then he starts doing impressions of her telling him how she totally doesn't have anything.
aye.
Yep. It's real rough.
Yeah, and I think Hajime bumps into Leo at the funeral
Yes.
when he's getting cremated.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Because this is the second instance of bam.
yeah. Well, no, the second instance spam is after they do this, and so he's kind of draining the life force out of them. They're
Yeah.
getting their life drained out because they slowly all start to slump on the ground, break, and then Sasuke's mum comes in, talk to Momoko, of all people.
Yeah. Telepathic conversation with Momoko, and she
Yeah,
lies to. She says like, "Is that you, Jesus?" It's like, "Yes." Ha! I'm only kidding.
yeah, yeah. Look at the turn your eyes to the superstar Jesus symbol or whatever it was.
Yeah. Turn your attention to this Jesus Christ superstar thing we got going here.
Yeah. Uh, and then they all had to like break their tombstone, because it
Yeah. They
using their
had to
power of their
symbolically.
imagination.
Yeah, they had to symbolically break the tombstones in this shadow world to free themselves from the hold that the shadows had over them, or the shadow world. I'm trying to remember. Like I know I can remember I can remember Keiichiro's way of doing it. I can remember Leo's way of doing it. I don't remember anyone else's because they all
Uh,
do it in different ways.
yeah. Well, Monaco smashes it with a big stone,
Yeah. Okay.
which is kind of boring. Um,
Four. Yeah.
Sasuke, she essentially goes, I don't have a good imagination, and then
That's right.
uses a big mallet and whacks it.
That's
Uh,
right.
I can't even remember what does Hashimi use?
I don't know. I know Leo basically uses a bomb.
Oh, Hashimi was in a digger, a
A bulldozer.
bulldozer or something, yeah.
That's
And
right. Yeah.
what's his name was got riding the back of
Ichiro.
Godzilla.
Yeah. Go Go Godzilla
Yeah,
was my favorite moment in this whole episode.
that's the best thing. Gives it extra points.
Pretty. Yep. It was pretty good. Uh, and then of course they all kind of come to in the tunnel.
Yep.
Um, and sort of this is probably kind of get further into the backstory of why the taxi driver ends up,
Yeah.
luring people into the tunnel, I guess.
Aye, well he comes and says, "Get in my taxi," and Leo's like, "Nah, I'm not getting you a taxi." And
Yeah,
it's like, and then Monaco just goes, "Get in the taxi,"
that's right.
and then so they all get in the taxi, and
Yep,
then he tells them the backstory of what happened to him. Like, I got
yep.
my test back and I passed. I didn't have any like um some SID STI.
I didn't have any SDIs or anything like that. No. Uh, yeah, but it's sort of like it goes down that road of like one night he was driving down the tunnel, and all of a sudden, big truck comes
Yeah.
the other way into the tunnel, and then bang,
Bam.
and he's dead.
Yep.
First, we use BAM to signify Chell getting hit by a car. This time, we use it to signify a lorry hitting car.
But basically, noise at any car crash, isn't it?
Pretty much. I did enjoy the fact that, like, to signify the accident, like, it kind of. This has nothing to do with the dubbing or anything like that. This is just the show being, like, weirdly ham fisted about how it shows it. And it's like, oh, here's the hubcap from the car and it's covered in blood. And it's like, how? How did the hubcap get covered in blood?
Well, you might hit multiple people.
Just did he explode?
You hit a truck. Trucks explode.
I just don't like. I could rerun the accident in my head a few times, and there's no incident where it's like, oh, yeah, there he is, like coating that hubcap in blood.
So you never know. Maybe the truck exploded, causing him to explode all over the hubcap.
maybe, maybe he got out the car fine and then just exploded.
Yeah.
Just it just
Um.
didn't make any sense. I was laughing for a good I had to pause it. I was laughing for like 5 minutes at the fact there's a hubcap covered in blood from a guy who died in the cab of a car.
At the start or at the end? At the
It's
end.
just yeah.
Because they show the hubcap at the start as well.
It didn't dawn on me really, like, because at that point you don't really see. It's more specific about exactly what's happened towards the end. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
for God's sake,
that's true.
uh, too funny, too funny. But that's pretty much it. They get out the tunnel.
Yeah. And the taxi driver.
Leo,
Oh, I think they meet his daughter off to deliver flowers to the tunnel.
they do because they're kind of like walking through a forest on the way home.
Yeah, and she asks for directions
Yeah,
to the place that she's going to with the flowers.
yeah. She asks for directions to the place her father. Is this the place where the guy died? Like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
the one.
It's over that
Yep,
way.
yep.
Uh,
Next to the bunches of flowers from some prostitutes and hookers.
maybe. Ah, anyway, so that's the end of that episode.
Yep. How did you find it?
like I say, Godzilla earned it points. It was, I suppose, more of a story than most of the episodes so far.
Yep, agreed.
So I'm gonna go maybe a 6.
I think I'm with you on that one.
Yeah,
I It was
it's not.
decent enough story for once, which is
Yeah,
kind of nice.
that's not hard on that. Well,
No,
it's very hard.
agreed.
Yeah.
Good
So we're
God.
on to what, episode 11 now.
Episode 11, The Talking Mary Doll, Shadow of Terror. It's
God,
me, Mary Mary. Mary Mary.
Mary, Mary, Jesus,
This,
oh Jesus.
I just, yeah, I don't like this episode. I'll just state that right now. I don't like it.
I don't know. So I think the episode is starts off where they're walking down the street and
Kichiro.
Kichiro, it's runs ahead because they're arguing about something. I can't remember.
Yep,
And he goes, "Look, there's a doll," and apparently he wants the doll. Can I have it, Sasuke? And Sasuke was like, "No, it's in the trash, and you should be
yep,
playing with dolls at your age." Something like
yep.
that. And then that's it, left there, and then it kind of like they go to school, come back, and the doll's in Sasuke's house.
Yes. And of
Um,
course, they blame Kichiro for it. So,
yeah, he gets blamed. It's like you brought this doll back. I told you you can't have the doll. Well, I didn't do it.
and then he starts making some really loud, high pitched squealing noises as he does.
Yeah, and then she notices there's a dirty mark on the cheek of the doll, so she
Yep.
cleans it. That's
Hmm.
foreshadowing there. Uh,
Yeah. It's yeah.
and then so is it Kichiro? Did he throw it in the trash after she tells him to get rid of the doll again?
I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she is she gets a wakes up and answers the phone call, and after what must be after 10. Yeah, it's after 10 because there's a joke about that.
Yeah.
And it's like, Mary, Mary, come out to play and in the trash or something.
Yep. I'm in the trash. I'm in your house. Like,
Yeah, it's like
it's
four
like,
phone calls to telling her where she got to.
oh, it's amazing. Like the phone calls are genuinely the best bit about this whole episode. They're so stupid.
Yeah, she gets like a smoker's cup as well, the doll.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Great.
Like I love the fact that Mary Mary clearly kind of gives up at some points when she's like telling her what's up.
Yeah. Um, so anyway, she puts the phone down for the final time, turns around the room, finds the doll there and screams, and then the dad walks in and goes, "Hey, I thought I told you that you're not allowed to use the phone after 10 o'clock or something."
Yep.
And then he sees the doll and says, "Oh, you're not allowed to play with dolls after 10:15."
It's yeah.
And then her
Mm,
kid brother wakes up and goes, "I threw that in the trash. I swear I did."
that's right. But no,
And and then the
Mary
dad,
Mary made her way back out.
yeah, then the dad picks it up and says, "I'm keeping it." Well, it's at crotch level.
Yep. And I think like there's like I feel like Amanajaku sort of like foreshadows the danger of said doll, even though like nothing bad's happened specifically yet.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, I can see him doing that too.
Uh, and then um, I feel like is this the part where they like try they get because Sasuke and all the others did they not like they because it's like obviously not getting rid of by being in the trash. They try to get rid of it by leaving it with like other toys or something like that.
Something like that. I can't remember.
It's like because obviously and then like I don't know like the doll then sort of like commands a toy army.
Yeah, it it gets one. So
I had like
they
feeling
go
some
and hide
Akira
somewhere.
vibes from that.
They go and hide somewhere. So
Uh,
they go to some old abandoned place, or they tell the teacher because the teacher
mhm.
got an involvement in this one where they take the doll um to some oh I got a place for this doll type thing and takes it to like this priest who but it's like it's not like a monk. They're not calling him a monk, but he's
That
obviously cast as a monk.
they take it to a place. It's like the oh what the fuck is it called? It's like this is what we do where we like play with dolls and stuff like that. But I think it's like a place where dead people's dolls or toys end up. That's where she amasses the army.
Yeah,
But I don't think
but
anything comes of that.
we skipped over an important part.
Did I?
Yeah. So we got so at school she gets a phone call from her dad,
Hey,
or the
yep,
secretary told her, "Oh, you got better go to the hospital. Your dad's in the hospital now."
that's
Type thing,
right.
and both kids run to the hospital, going, "Oh no, you're gonna die!" Type
Uh,
thing. It's like, no, it's not that bad, but yeah, he's got some injury from playing with the doll, apparently.
yeah, and of course, that's any excuse to not have him wearing his Sunday sweater he wears in literally every episode.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, talk about next episode. He wasn't wearing it in last episode that we were
No,
going to talk
no,
about.
that's true.
Um,
That's
yeah. So that happened, and then she goes to the roof, and no,
why do they go to the
no,
roof?
she's in the office because she's got a phone call from the doll in the office.
Yeah, and yeah, but she was told it was a phone call from someone else,
Yeah, or someone's looking
which
for
is
you
we
type
think
thing.
out.
Because obviously they
Yeah,
don't know about the doll. And then she slams it down as soon as it says Mary Mary.
yep,
And then the whole switchboard in the school lights up.
yeah. Actually, I will say that was actually really well done. Where like literally every phone like in sequence starts to ring and to ring, and it like turns into this like cacophony of beeping and ringing. That was actually tense and creepy in a cool way. Um, like I say, like occasionally they do like they not the English dub, nothing to do with the English dub, but there's like this show does do stuff right, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you maybe watch the actual original Japanese dubbing, it might be a bit more edgy and not so garish.
Not so racist.
Yeah, that was been nice. I wasn't going to call it
Yeah,
racist
no,
that time.
no, that's
So then she runs on the roof, and then Hajime and Leo appears, and then Leo gets a phone call on his mobile, or is it
uh-huh.
Monaco? No, Leo gets a phone call on the mobile, and it's the
Yep.
doll, and it says "I'm on the roof now" type thing.
Yep.
And then that's where the teacher comes off and goes, "What are you guys doing? Oh, you got this doll. This is a pretty cute doll. I know just a place for this place. Can I have it?"
That's where they go to the special
Yeah,
place.
that's how they
That's when
get
the toy
there.
army appears.
Uh,
Uh
and then she hides out in the old school again. Is it? I don't think it's the old school.
let's just say it is because, why not?
It seems pretty much like the old school.
It
And
does.
then, uh, oh yeah, because she's home alone. Because the dad's still in hospital, so they go home alone, and then they're like, "Oh shit, let's get out of here," type thing, and then run away to this place to hide from the
Yep.
doll. Because it doesn't have any phones or something. I don't know. Anyway, so there, um, kid brother wants needs to go and pee, and Hajime tells, "Oh, just do it like something else," and he goes, "Oh, but it's a number two." And then he has a panic face on his face for some reason, and takes him to like the outdoor caddy, leaving Sasuke all alone in the building.
And you know, cue some hilarious fart noises.
Yep. Oh, you know, can't get any better than Bottom though. Bottom's fart noises are the best.
But it's because Bottom's good quality humor.
It was good quality humor.
Oh no, I say it unironically.
I don't know. It's funny, and it was very
Yeah,
humorous. Good
yeah.
quality is.
Okay, yeah, maybe a step too far. It was entertaining. We'll
It
say
was
that.
entertaining. I meant the whole point of it was it's meant to be terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally just terrible, terrible people. Anyway, that's Bottom. That's something else, completely different from this show.
A classic. You should watch that.
Yeah,
Maybe instead of
it's
Ghost Stories, for example.
I think it was on Netflix,
Was it? I never actually picked. I should have
maybe,
maybe watched some of it. I haven't watched it in years.
um, or at least it'll be on iPlayer, BBC
Yeah,
iPlayer.
but we can talk about this because I think, and I'm just trying to remember this correctly. This is another episode where we don't use the book.
Yeah, it is. She doesn't use the book.
Now, like, why bother having the fucking book?
Well, it helps with 99% of the ghosts so far.
But it's kind of the premise of the show.
Oh, and Sasuke kind of is properly freaked out by the doll for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, she's dealt with like worse ghosts. She's seen the big fucking were-rabbit eating shit, and
Yeah, she does
then
seem to have a big problem with this doll for some reason.
bunch of zombies coming at her.
Yep.
Oh, mirror zombies. They wanted to drag her into the mirror.
So, like, is this the bit where the like the Mary and the other toys are sort of attacking?
Yeah, yeah. So Mary appears in thing, and then she brings out the shadows of these all these other toys,
Yeah.
and start dancing around her.
Yeah.
And then Monaco appears out of the blue, out of nowhere,
Of course.
and claims that she was getting phone calls from the doll too, but
Yep.
her number is unregistered and she doesn't understand how she got the number. Was her joke.
It's priceless.
Oh, and
Priceless.
also, Hajime and anyone else couldn't get into the building because it's locked.
Yep. That's right. So she's sort of stuck in there, and there's like a uh, they're playing a game. Crap. What's it called?
Ring roses.
It. I looked this up. Hang on.
All right,
Uh, Fact checking does absolutely not kill podcasts. Kagome.
Gomi Kagome.
One player is the chosen Oni, or demon, or ogre, sits blindfolded, etc.
All right.
But the whole point being is that, like, in the end of it, it kind of nothing really happens.
No, all I know is I think Monaco is some Monaco, Monaco.
Momoko, monocle.
Yeah, the Grand Prix. Uh,
Yep.
yeah. So I think I think she enters the fray into the building before the boys somehow. I'm not
Uh-huh.
entirely sure. But anyway, so nothing happens at the fight because Sasuke drops her handkerchief. The
Yep.
same handkerchief she used to clean the doll earlier. Even though she went and
Yep.
and spat into the into the cloth, and she says that's kind of disgusting, but you cleaned me up, so I'll let you pass this time. I won't cut off your tits, I believe was the term that she used.
Yep. She did super say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all the other dolls kind of rioted at her, like, hey! And then she was like, "You don't get it. I'm the boss," type thing.
She basically like leaves apparently because she wasn't. She realizes that Sasuke wasn't having any fun. Apparently.
Yeah. I wonder why she wouldn't have any fun. He just kind of like terrorized her for half an hour, or a number of
Uh.
days. But yeah, yeah. So basically, she then meets the cat up on top of the roof,
Yes.
and they have some random conversation, and I can't remember. Maybe setting a plot for foreshadowing for another time in the series.
Potentially, but I mean, it shows you how important and how memorable it was that neither of us can remember at all what that conversation was.
I was struggling to remember most of this episode.
This episode and the next one, uh, not sticking particularly well in my memory, even though I watched them more recently and more frequently than the previous two episodes.
Wow, I only watched these once.
I watched. I actually felt that the first two I knew enough about to talk about relatively. And then the second two, I didn't get enough from watching the first time, so watched them again, and I still don't understand or remember much of them.
Well, you gotta remember that they changed like the entire script for the show, so
Yeah.
getting anything from it other than whatever they put in, it's kind of hard. But yeah, so I generally watch these episodes. I try to watch them on the day that we do the recording, so I only need to
Okay.
watch them once, and also have a clearer memory. So it was only yesterday, literally yesterday, I watched it because we didn't get recording last night as planned,
I uh I rewatched episodes 11 and 12 yesterday.
and I watched 12 today.
Man.
Yeah, which is next episode. Anyway, so that's the end of that episode. Oh, it was to get about Hajime jumping through a window.
Jesse, they jumped through a window.
Right at the end, he jumps through something, and Monocle goes, "Why did you do that for? That's really stupid and reckless." And he goes, "What do you mean?" And then he starts bleeding from the head.
Yes.
And that was after everything's done and dusted.
Yeah, everything had died down.
And then he jumps through the window for some comedy gold. And that's even in the actual original anime. That'll be what that's all about.
Yep, that's fair, I guess. Every now and
Uh,
then.
yeah,
Okay, what's this one for you then?
rating this one, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, I probably remember what happens in it over what's actually been said. I can't remember any memorable, horrible jokes. It was actually quite tame, this one, I think, in that
It was.
regards.
I at least the like. I think the thing that made it funnier for me was the. I thought the Mary Mary phone calls were funny. That was about it though.
Yeah, she getting worse and worse with her smoker cough. It's like, I gotta give these
Yep.
up and stuff like that. Uh, I suppose the worst thing about it was the dad having misusing the doll, apparently, was the joke with the dad getting into
Eh,
hospital, and that's why he's in hospital. That would be the horrible bit of the show. Anyway, rating the show, it's pretty meh. And
Yep.
I think I'll put this to a 3.
I might go as low as a 2 on this one.
It was just
It
nothing.
was it's like the 2 points for me is they did one cool horror thing and the Mary Mary phone calls, and the rest of it's just trash.
Oh come on, man! You've rated other things higher without any of the cool stuff in it.
But I've remembered those ones.
Well, you still got 10 episodes left.
Yep, don't remind me. Episode 12.
Straight on to
The
episode
nurse who
12.
tells you your death. Mother's feelings.
Yeah,
Uh, so this one, yeah, okay. So this one is basically about a mysterious nurse that kind of
yeah,
appears before Kichiro and kind of haunting him. And it's a little bit creepy in like a good way. Like it does a good job, I think, of doing like that factor and stuff. But
yeah,
uh, it's and I suppose this I should say as well is this is one where the book comes into some sort of use.
yeah. She finally decides to look at the book. So the start of it's kind of weird. Like there's like a
Mm,
sports day thing, and then apparently he goes out. He gets put into the nurse's office because he
yeah,
shouldn't been exercising like so soon.
because he was going to throw up or something.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, he's in the hospital
Yeah,
placements. I mean, the whole show's been like that though.
yeah.
And then he sees the ghost and gets scared and tells everyone about it.
It's a really good bit though because it's the he looks out the window and sees the ghost and only half like the it's a very sort of it reminded me of Project Zero 2 or Fatal Frame depending on where you're from,
All right, yeah.
the Crimson Butterfly, where there's the scene where you open the door and it's just half a face that you see through the crack in the door. I always remember that scaring the absolute crap out of me as a kid. So like I got the kind of the tingly sort of that's creepy vibe from that, which is really good. It was
Well,
pretty well done.
yeah. I mean, it kind of seems to be like a general Japanese horror thing because
Yeah,
it seems to happen in a lot of
pretty,
things. What is it? Fatal Frame
yeah. I
1,
mean,
they did that too or something.
they probably did. It's just the Crimson Butterfly is a more memorable one for me, and like you know, you probably there's analogs to that in the Ring or the Grudge or the Eye. Um, yeah, like
Yeah.
there's a ton of like things that have that kind of horror, but yeah,
It,
it just it works, I think, as a creepy moment for sure.
I do know, I've seen one of their clips. I don't know if we passed it or not, but there's a big reference about how many more rip-offs of The Grudge can we do? Or The Ring. We had like
uh,
5 already. One of the
True.
quotes maybe coming up.
But yeah, I think I seem to remember Kichiro says that there's a transvestite scary running after him.
Yeah, he calls her the transvestite nurse. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, just the nurse is kind of drained of life and like
yeah. I mean,
sad. And then
yeah,
they call it the Grim Reaper nurse or something like that. The curse nurse.
the cursed nurse because they think that essentially it's like the Grim Reaper of the hospital.
Yeah, yeah. So the story goes something like, oh, there's one kid in the nurse's office. He wasn't doing so great, and then this random nurse appeared, and then he flatlined.
Yep,
Uh,
that's right.
but that, and then Saskia was like, no, I don't believe in it, and then runs away type thing because of no reason because it's not explained at all in this episode.
So Yeah, because the way this goes is essentially I can't remember why, but they end up in the hospital that Satsuki's mum was in.
Yeah, yeah. So for that, they have a lot of flashbacks and talks about her mom planning like it seems to be like a backstory thing for the mum episode.
Yeah,
Um,
because they have lots of conversations with Momoko, who, of course, knew Sasuke's mum from a conversion camp.
yeah,
Uh, yeah,
uh, that's right. But like before that, so he goes there and then he's like having weird dreams about the nurse as well. Like he's
yep,
dreaming that he's with his mom and his mom's telling about the apple juice and how it gives him extreme gas, but he still drinks it anyway. And
that's
then he's going to make a
right.
pinky promise with her, and then the ghost
Yep.
nurse grabs him, and then she gets pulled away into the light. It's
He's like, "This is come on, just pull my finger. It's really funny."
yeah, I'll make a noise that sounds like a fart.
I did actually laugh at that. I probably shouldn't have, but yeah, I laughed. Like that whole scene was really ridiculous.
Yeah, it was that,
Uh,
and then he wakes up screaming, he and they live in a bunk bed apparently, and he's in the top
yeah, because
bunk.
she says she's trying to sleep.
Yeah, and then he just goes blah 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 to her type thing, and then she says, "Get a grip! It was only a dream." And then, but with like such a soft face, and then goes all angry at him for
Yep.
some reason.
There's a is that the same bit where he's like, but I'm afraid of it's not a transvestite. He does they do call it a transvestite nurse later on, but it's is it a cross dressing nurse or something like that? And it's like
Yeah, I think you might make
or
it that
shemale.
point.
Might be a shemale. There's lots of like these kind of references. It's
Oh
like, oh,
yeah, well,
you don't have to worry about them. You have to worry about priests or something of equal magnitude horrible.
yeah, I think maybe. So what else? So you do that. Wakes up. Oh, the dad. We had another scene where they talk about the dad. Dad talks about how the dumplings or something about reminds him of his mum, but she couldn't cook for shit or something like that. I think she ends up saying
That's right.
something along those lines. She's so much better than her mum cooking, and then she has
Yep.
a flashback about cooking the dumplings and squeezing out all the mince within the kitchen. Uh, and it gets the next morning, and she's cutting away, like some preparing for things, and the dad, not in his Sunday jumper, not
Yep.
his Sunday best jumper, by the way. We're not talking about that. We're
No, no.
we're
Literally a jumper that says Sunday on it.
literally a yellow jumper that says Sunday on it. He's in like some shirt of some sort. Must be
That's
getting
right.
ready to go to work, and she's complaining about the kid brother keeping her awake all night. Blah blah
Hmm.
blah. And he says, "Ah, I can't really go into it. I'm too hungover." Uh, and
Of
then
course, because he was drinking to the memory of his dead wife.
yeah, he was drinking himself to sleep over his dead
Yep.
wife. Um, and then she goes, "Well, no talking then, because I had no sleep, and I'm standing here with a knife."
That's right. She threatens him. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she literally threatens her dad. So what? Um, and then it goes to school, and she's late or something. Come back, and kid brother
Hmm.
sees the nurse again, looking at him from the second floor of the school, and then
Yep.
disappears as everyone else gets there. And then Sasuke tells him to shut up or something and go in, and he runs away crying. And then um, the next day, she's hanging out washing in the back garden and talking to the Hajime mom, I think, with a
Oh,
deep western
in a southern
Texas voice.
accent. Yep.
talking about how her husband's not should get a job and get a dryer or something like that,
Yeah,
and then
that's
he's
a
like,
weird
nah,
scene.
that'd be good because but all he does is get drunk and comes home with lipstick on his collar, stuff like that, and it's like I, it went on a tangent with some random Western voice acting.
Yep, definitely an odd bit. I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but yep,
Yeah,
we got past it.
and then kid brother runs off to the hospital for some reason. No reason why we're going to this hospital in the English dub anyway.
There really isn't, is there?
No, he just runs off there. I mean, there's no explanation about it and that, but I'm assuming what happens in this episode in the real dub is actually maybe coming close to the mother's uh, uh years or the day she passed in the future, and they're all
Hmm.
having sentiments, and Sasuke getting upset because she's missing her mother and stuff like that. Hence why all the
Oh, that would
w
make sense.
weirdness. I think that's what this episode would probably be in a proper dubbing. But no, there's no no reason to go
There's
to
none
the
of that.
hospital where
So
she
yeah,
died.
this is the part where it's like sort of we get introduced a bit more about uh, the conversations between Momoko and Sasuke's mum, and the fact that turns out that Momoko was just a massive drug fiend,
Oh yeah,
and that
she was totally addicted to everything. I believe she was also addicted to sex. It was also
yep,
something that was mentioned. Drugs and sex and alcohol, maybe.
yes, and there is a bit just a creepy bit where the mum like I think gives her food and then starts like weirdly chatting up this child.
Yeah, yeah. Because also this was like I don't know how many years ago, but yeah. And
It's
then
20
talks
years
about
ago.
how she was a dyke, but then she wasn't a dyke. I shouldn't be really using that term. Super
Yep,
show.
they use such colorful language in this show.
Yeah. Anyway, the mother was apparently a bi because
Yep,
all she managed to have two kids,
yep, that's right.
but she didn't have two. No.
She did.
Yeah, she did. Well, sure, Monaco, not Monaco, Christian girl, as
Omako.
yeah, she I'm sure she stated that she didn't have kids at the time or something, but then she did.
Uh,
But then it can't be true because the flashbacks show that there it was around about the time she passed.
yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
Um, anyway, it doesn't try
The
and make
dubbing is
sense. This
failing
show is
us.
just pointless.
And
Uh,
yet here we are on episode 3 of how many episodes there's going to be? Hang on.
five.
One, two. Yeah, yeah. We got two more of these to do.
That's just looking forward to it. Eh?
We're gonna have spent 2 months of our lives talking about this.
Well, that's only because we decided to take a 2 week hiatus on this one.
Yeah, and I don't feel the better for it because I've spent 2 weeks with this show festering in my brain.
What are we going to do next week or after this show? But anyway, let's talk about that later.
Question.
Uh,
So,
yeah. So basically, her and Sasuke go to the hospital after the brother. He's there with the cat.
mhm.
And this hospital seems to be abandoned pretty much because the kid can just run around and get into the room that her mother died, who's, looks like a private room.
Yep.
And no one's about to stop him wandering around and going, hey, what you
Nope.
doing here, kid?
No hospital security at all.
Yeah. Um,
I think but at this point, Sasuke's already read the book, and it says in there that basically the idea is that the the this nurse, the cursed nurse, is like the Grim Reaper, and that she's potentially looking to be harmful to Kichiro. So she goes after him.
Yeah, and she
Um,
reads the spell to get rid of her.
Now, I'm going to try. Is it something about the patient is fine? We're all good here.
Pretty much. It's something like the patient. There's no illness in this patient. There's no illness in this patient. You say it twice.
Oh, you got to say it twice. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's right. But then, of course, that does jack shit. So,
Yeah, well, we find out the reason that at the end. Anyway, and the mother says that she's banished it, and then Saskia goes, once reading the book, goes, ah, if you weren't already dead, I would kill you. So she wants to kill her mother, her dead mother as well, apparently.
yep. After stabbing her dad to death for annoying her while he was hungover.
Yeah, so it's happy days in this family, it seems. Um, so they get to the hospital, and then they run in the waiting area of the hospital, and then a Spanish nurse appears and tells them not they'll run in the corridor, I believe, in
Yep.
Spanish.
And then she yells back at them in Spanish. She yells back at the nurse in Spanish.
Yeah, type thing. And then there's some random conversation in Spanish, and then she just runs off, and the nurse just kind of looks upset, throws her arms down beside her, goes. Psh. Um, Meanwhile, Saskia's sitting in his mother's room, reminiscing
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
about things, and then there was a flashback where he was trying to buy a
To
carton of
buy apple
juice.
juice. Yeah.
And then Monocle comes in and goes, "What do you want, kid? What are you doing? What's wrong?" I think without any passion, and
Yep.
goes,
And it's the you got to learn how to do things for yourself, and he gets all upset, and she's like, "For fuck's sake!" Just pushes the button.
"Yeah, pretty much." It's like I'm too short to reach the button.
Have your damn apple juice.
Yeah. Um. We forgot about the whole horrible. Oh, there's a couple of horrible jokes with the dad. One is the dad is once again doing some referring back to the previous episode where he's
Yeah,
going to parents' night or something, and he says, "I can't show myself there, not after this fiasco with the doll."
that's right. And then she's like, "Yeah, but you could go." And it's like, "But that's why I'm asking, and that's why I shouldn't go." So,
Yeah. And the kid brother runs away at the dinner table at that point and goes, um, "Don't go."
yep,
I said, "Fine, I won't."
wasn't planning to.
Yeah. And then there's another point where Saskia has a flashback about the hospital and goes, remembers her dad going, "It's only ever happens once," and runs into a room with all the female nurses.
This is a once in a lifetime thing,
Yeah,
and just like bails into a room with four nurses.
yeah, and the wife, I believe, and essentially just basically make another sex joke with him. At least he's
Yep,
of age,
that's true. I
and
mean,
all the nurses
of all the
potentially.
things you can say, like I feel like at least they're of age is maybe like the lowest thing you can say is I guess this is all right.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't really explain it to your daughter, who's I don't know,
No, I guess.
not of an age to really understand. Anyway, so those are the horrible scenes of the show of this episode. Uh,
Suppose we should get to the bit where it kind of wraps up.
yeah. So Kid Brother walking along the corridor with the cat because obviously, sure,
That's
there's no one in this hospital except for
because he
that
ran
one
away with
nurse.
the cat. I
Yeah,
forgot about that. The cat was in the bag.
yeah. Um, uh, and then the nurse starts chasing them down the corridor, and then Sasuke and the other people catch up in the corridor, and they go,
Yep.
"No, he's not ill. He's not ill." And then Nurse Carrie keeps
Yep.
coming, and he goes, "Oh," and then is it the cat? It comes in and says, "Oh, don't worry about her. She's not going to kill you," type thing.
Yep.
And it's
That's
like,
it.
all right. And then she disappears in a flash of light and lots of golden dust. And then the cat makes a comment. It's like, "Oh, quality animation."
Yep. And it's weird because I was looking at it going, "Oh, that's quite nice animation."
Yeah, that's good animation. That.
I think the
And then
whole thing was is that not a Grim Reaper, but more sort of a protector,
yeah, yeah, she
like
had a
the
message
nurse.
from the dying
Yeah,
mother.
yeah, yeah. That's right. When she disintegrates, she leaves a card.
Yeah. And then the dad turns up because he also read the note that the kid brother left, and
Yep,
he's not in his Sunday jumper still. He's in a
you're
suit.
right. Yeah,
Because yeah, I think they were meant to be going to like to the grave of the mother.
that would make sense.
Um, but anyway, so he appears and they're having this, and then she's reading this and saying, "Mother's what do we call it? Basically has a dialogue with a note saying how she's really high on this and she's not going to write anything meaningful in this letter because she's too high.
Yep,
But she did love the father still type thing, and there's no issues. And I hope you found my diary. I don't remember where I left it. Was one of the things that was written in the letter because and there was a photo album where
oh yes, because that actually there's a good joke in that. It's like, I hope I didn't include that picture of me in the pink suit. Oh god damn it.
yeah,
She's really angry at the inclusion of this picture of her wearing like a pink suit.
yeah. And then she also makes a comment about the dad being cross-eyed. He always cross-eyed in his pictures. I think.
That's, look, he's doing it right now.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, she's
actually
getting so
genuinely
upset.
funny. That was a good funny segment.
Yeah.
That bit.
And then at the end of it, the kid brother can go to get the carton of apple juice,
That's right. All
and
by
look, I can
himself.
press the buttons now, type thing. And then, but he asked the dad to open it, and he goes, "I open it. You know, I'm not good with shapes." And father just goes, "No, do it yourself."
That's right. And then he does, and then they all cry.
Yeah, and they'll cry. It's like what? What's going on with the ending of that?
Ah,
Such a
amazing.
harsh episode.
Symbolism.
So
Symbolism.
yeah, so that was that
Okay.
episode.
Jesus. Right. What you got?
The rating time.
Hmm.
Because it's fresh in my mind and it has some, I suppose, good points in it. I'm going to maybe bring this up to a 5.
Okay. Okay.
It's not a great episode, but trying working out where they had it, what the
Yeah.
episode's meant to
I'm
be, I
not going
think
as
is
far as a 5, but I'm gonna go with a 4.
4.
Yeah. I think there was more humor in it that landed this one, and the occasional like reasonably creepy bit. Uh, Less a fan of the completely ruining any resonance of the story by just shitting all over the characters in the script. It's
Yeah.
just complete irreconcilable nonsense for the most part.
Yep.
But yeah, yeah, good times, good times.
Good times.
Okay, so your average
Uh-huh.
uh, uh, is a 4.5. My average is a 3.75.
Oh. I, I rated the other
We both
ones
did give
high.
a 6
I've only one
to
given a
episode
6.
to episode 10,
Yep,
The
I
Tunnel
give
with
that a
No
6.
Exit. That's a good episode, I think.
Yeah,
Fairly well measured. Only some shitty jokes.
only some for once.
So that's that. I suppose we should do some housekeeping. So we did try to record last night, but we did have some recording issues because Colin has changed his PC.
Mhm.
Got that fixed now, though. It seems sort of.
Certainly got audio that I can make fixed, and the
Yep.
audio that you're making is good. But
It makes noises, which is good.
audio on my headset is terrible.
Yeah, you should get a new headset.
I'll Yeah, I'll test it on something else first.
Might be worthwhile, like making sure that the noise coming out your speakers is fine.
Yeah, the noise in the speakers is fine.
Yeah, that's if the noise in the speaker's fine and your headset's not going well. Yeah, that's probably the headset.
I'll move it to another port. I'll stick it in the back.
See how you go. Fair enough.
Hmm.
So, but what I think we're going to do is we're going to move recording to a Sunday night
Yeah,
rather than a Thursday. So we'll be back on the. Let me just look at the calendar. The
18th.
18th.
Yeah.
And are you going to be doing any other streaming this week?
Um, no, don't think I will. I usually
Okay.
do it tonight. Busy tomorrow. Wednesday, don't know. Don't know, unless you want to do some Hunters thing.
There's always potential to do some Monster Hunter streaming, so you can see that coming up maybe in the next couple of weeks on Couch Fuel on Twitch.
Yep.
Um, other than that, I think it's pretty cool to see like we have some people listening to this like on the podcast form, which is
Yeah.
nice. Um, if you use Facebook, maybe you want to join our Facebook page. It's just if you look for "Who's That Anime" in the search bar, you'll find us. I, for some reason, cannot get a customized URL for that page. I do not know why.
Oh,
Yeah, very annoying.
oh well. I mean, yeah, we'll post things about episodes, I suppose, in there.
Yep, we'll share when the new podcasts are up and things like that. Sometimes give news of when we're actually going to be streaming. But yeah, it has been fun, feeling fresh back from our 2 week break,
Yep.
and we'll be back to it in less than a week. So
Yeah. I mean,
with episodes,
good old ghost
what?
stories.
Yeah, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And then a mammoth last episode to cover 5 episodes.
Doing the 5. Because it ends
Yeah,
at
it's going to be.
21, apparently.
Yep,
Oof.
lucky 21.
That's going to take me just over 2 hours to watch.
So, interestingly, I'm looking at the episode listings here. They'll have the dates of when they aired. And episode 20 aired on the 25th of March 2001. And episode 21 was unaired.
Oh, episode 21 was unaired.
This was originally the third episode, apparently, and was supposed to be broadcast on November 5th, 2000. So the show will wrap up, and then we'll talk about a random episode that never got aired.
Sure, sounds about right.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yep.
Gotta love it.
Are those airtimes the Japanese airtimes?
I assume so, because there's lots of references to stuff in this show that are like 2005, 2006.
Yeah, because I thought it was like a 2005 thing for the English dub anyway.
Yeah, that seems about right in terms of the airing, the kind of references and things they're talking about.
Yeah. So, because we only got 2 episodes left, we better start talking what we're going to do next.
Good question. Have you had any thoughts?
Wow, I did have one in this episode where we're talking about random boring episodes.
Uh-huh.
And there was an anime series that came out. What was it? I don't remember the name, but wonderful thingy women, and it had like the meme of the dance and everything in it. Let's see if we can find it. Bring that up. Bring this up. Um, anyway, they did a second season, and part of the running of the manga, there was a story about something like the Miraculous Eight, and it's about
Okay.
basically they reliving doing the Groundhog Day thing,
Okay.
and yeah, anyway, I don't want to ruin it for you because apparently it ran way too long for what it was and ruined the season.
What was it called?
Oh god. I don't remember. Don't remember the show's name.
That's fine. Right. We'll tease it. We'll tease it. Let me have a look at it, and I'll see if I can maybe stomach it.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just watch the second season because, like I said, there's two seasons,
Oh,
and it was a cult following on the first season, and then the second season
maybe we
came
should
out.
watch. Maybe we should watch the first season, but not talk. Maybe do one episode to like set it up.
All right, watch the first season, the 24 episodes.
Yeah, and like talk about it for
Okay.
one episode, just to kind of like get an idea about how much we enjoy it, and and then just tear it all apart.
Yeah, we'll see if it goes. Apparently, yeah, it's like the cheapest production they could have ran in anything for eight episodes.
Amazing. Perfect. Right, that seems like a good place to end this shit show.
Yeah, join us on Sunday the 18th for who's that anime episode 7?
Yeah,
For more ghost stories and see what other non-political correct things they can say.
which is a lot apparently. So,
Anyway, we'll catch you next week.
bye, folks.
Bye.
Pussy, I guess you always do what your big sister tells you to do.
Okay.
Later!
Hey! Cat's around! Where's the damn cat? But he... What? Ketro, what are you, retarded? Obviously. Which way did he go? Now we'll never find out who the ghost is. I hope to God you're adopted.